I recently finished John Stubbs' excellent biography of Jonathan Swift, the Reluctant Rebel, and it was quite exhaustive, if not exhausting, in his examination of all the politics of the time. Lots of Tories and Whigs flying around, or Whiggish Tories or Toryish Whigs. But it gave me a real sense of the political context that Jonathan Swift was engaging in during the time of the Glorious Revolution, of the last of the Stuarts, Queen Anne, and into the Hanoverians' reign. And it really brought home to me just how much of a bundle of apparent contradictions Swift was. Very much part of the establishment, an Anglo-Irishman who became the Dean of St. Peter's Cathedral in Dublin. He also spoke up for the Irish, maybe not utterly in favour of the Catholic Irish, but still very much caring about the oppression of Ireland from Westminster. And as much as he hated the country and resented being sent back, so to speak, in lieu of a perhaps higher position in England itself, he ultimately spoke up for those who were oppressed. But along with that goes another interesting contradiction, the fact that on the one hand, as a clergyman, he sought to instruct his flock in the proper Christian morals with sermons that were fairly workmanlike, fairly straightforward. He also filled his satirical verse, at least occasionally, with high scatological content. Most famously, perhaps, his poem about a man who looks into his beloved's dressing room only to find filthy clothes, general squalor, and ultimately a chamber pot with a shit in it, as the poem explicitly puts it. And the whole point of the poem is that this paragon of innocent beauty that he'd imagined is after all human, is after all someone who performs basic bodily functions. And this fascination with excrement informs the title of Norman O. Brown's essay on Swift, The Excremental Vision, in which he suggests there's an interesting sense in which Swift has this suspicion that human behaviour, even if in its highest forms, its highest religious forms, could be but the sublimated expression of very base drives in an almost Freudian or psychoanalytic sense. And it's this double nature to Swift that runs throughout much of his work, including his most famous work, Gulliver's Travels. And it's this contradictory sense which I think pervades what we might call ideology. The sense that ideology can contain contradictions, necessary contradictions. On the one hand, Swift needed his Tory ideals of hierarchy and order. He wanted to maintain the exclusion of nonconformists, non-Anglicans from political office, while at the same time having this incredibly hard-nosed, demystifying attitude to human behaviour, which was necessary perhaps in order for him to see through certain machinations of those who were in power. And it's a fascination to me that ideology can contain such contradictions. Maybe we could think about the Christian problematic of faith and works. Is it faith that saves us? Is it works? Does St. Paul contradict St. James? Perhaps we could suggest that actually this apparent contradiction is necessary. You need the carrot, as it were, of salvation by faith to give hope and a valuable kind of gift or attractive side to the faith, but you need the stick of works ultimately to ensure people stay in line and maintain a certain group identity. And maybe the different ways that Roman Catholics and Protestants understand exactly how these two things work out is a sort of attempt to form a different kind of group identity, as with Calvin's attempts to say, well, you're saved by faith, but works are the expression of having the true faith, which of course works out as, practically speaking, meaning you have to do certain works in order to be part of that community. And it's something I want to explore a little more about in terms of the Enlightenment and the kind of contradictions that the Enlightenment and its legacy have given rise to.